So we've been in business for 30 years. When I started 17 years ago, we had 14 employees. Now we've got 60 to 65. Had a nice consistent growth pattern throughout the years. We are focused in healthcare. Probably 80% of our business is in healthcare. 20% is in the SMB, small business commercial space. It initially started as just a small mom and pop shop, so to speak. And then for the first 12 years or so, and then in 2004, we made a decision to transition into healthcare only at that point. And that's where ICE Technologies really saw a big growth spurt, supporting critical care access hospitals, primarily in the Midwest, but we did expand from California to Florida, across the country. And it was just consistent, nice growth up, especially during those meaningful use period that healthcare was experiencing with the government funding to transition everyone into electronic health records. So our future growth path is still going to be focused on healthcare, but we have diversified into, as I mentioned, the SMB, small business commercial space, and that's not going away. And I think the security aspect of our business is going to definitely be a focus. That's just don't see the end in sight of the growth potential there. So I am the technical architect and IT security officer. So part of my job is to kind of lead, between myself and then we have a team of employees, engineers that we evaluate our solution sets, manage our current solution sets, and then look at what's, the new products coming down the pipe and doing R&D testing. And then the IT security officer side is managing the IT security for the ICE Technologies internal office. ICE Technologies target customers is in the healthcare space, in the critical care access, so a 25-bed hospital facility down to the clinic, dental office type client. And then the services we offer, and it can be anywhere from fully managed outsourcing. We are the IT department for several hospitals. We do network management, firewall management, and then we have different managed security solutions, ThreatLocker being one of them that we provide for our clients and manage it, but also, fill in the gap for when we need to fill in for the local IT staff as well. So we started to look at the Zero Trust Endpoint Security solution. I'd say it started about 2 years ago. I started to see more of it as we were doing my technical architect role, the R&D function here at ICE Technologies, and it just, we believe in a layered security approach for both internally and our clients. So this ThreatLocker, to me, filled a significant role in that layered security. I first was introduced to ThreatLocker at IT Nation Secure, a ConnectWise security conference, and I was just really impressed with what I saw, and that's when we decided to bring that into our R&D and research it and do a test deployment for our internal environment here at ICE Technologies. We do try to bundle some security services together. So, we will bundle an EDR solution with ThreatLocker and a managed firewall service, for example. It can be a la carte too. We do definitely, though, try to establish a bundled service before we, just try to sell these solutions individually. Yeah, before I discovered ThreatLocker, we really hadn't been looking that long. ThreatLocker was one of the first application whitelist type of solution that I took a look at. So yeah, it was just very quick. And when we did our evaluation and the research and testing here at ICE, just the whole experience from the onboarding to post deployment support has just been exceptional. So it was a very easy sell just by what we experienced in that initial deployment here at ICE. Challenges we faced before ThreatLocker, I think our main challenge at the time was just to keep up on making sure, at least, especially at the endpoint security level, was where it needed to be. Kind of about the same time we deployed ThreatLocker, we switched our traditional antivirus solution to an EDR solution. And those two changes pretty much went hand in hand. And I felt very good about both of those changes that we made in making our endpoint security offerings much more robust. Beyond the just simple application whitelisting functionality to prevent something like a ransomware event or malware from spreading, another great aspect of it is just in a form of asset management on the application level. So for example, ICE acknowledges we have policies in place that employees can't install certain applications and they just have to maintain whatever our standard application list is. And ThreatLocker is an excellent tool to help enforce that. Before ThreatLocker, we'd encounter things being installed on employees' devices that no one knew about, and that can lead to a incident when we don't know something that needs to be patched, that sort of thing. So yeah, ThreatLocker, just beyond the ability to stop anything not authorized to run from a security aspect, just to stop ransomware, it does a great job in helping us maintain our asset management on that application level. Yeah, when considering ThreatLocker, so obviously having an MSP offering was critical. Yeah, and the price point was very attractive. In today's security, just the offerings that are out there are just almost overwhelming sometimes. And a lot of them, the price points are we just can't even hardly look at them because, especially in a critical care access hospital environment where budgets are so limited, we have to treat our clients' money like it's our own. So, that's definitely a big checkbox that ThreatLocker checked. Was the price point was very attractive. I think it's one of the best bang for the buck security offerings out there. Just the overall experience. We've had some discussions here between some team members. You say if you could pick one security solution, you can only pick one, what would it be? And ThreatLocker is oftentimes the answer, because if I had to pick one, I'd want something that I could pretty much set properly, that nothing's gonna be able to run other than what's authorized. And, and then again, combine that with the onboarding experience we had. I think that's so important just to get it done right during the implementation, so everything is set and it just makes the overall experience once we go live just so much smoother than we've experienced with other initial deployments. And then the post support, the cyber hero support has been top notch. I'd say of all the vendors that we deal with, Cyber Heroes is at the top of response time and the time it takes to resolve any issues that come up. And usually those issues are more like dealing with an exclusion that the hash changes or a browser extension that just inherently just takes a little bit more knowledge and experience to successfully exclude going forward in the long term. And our experience of getting those types of issues resolved has been very good. So my main experience has been during the onboarding and some of the initial post-deployment activities. And I just think the support personnel that I've interacted with, both post go live and the onboarding, it's just, you can just tell the support personnel really care. And, when we convey that these are going into hospital healthcare environments, you just get the sense that, the ThreatLocker support people understand the criticality of what ThreatLocker and how that will protect the healthcare environment, and it can affect patient safety. And I think, that mirrors to how our support personnel, how seriously we take our roles here in support of those healthcare organizations. To add on to that, even during the onboarding and when we're going through the learning mode and the unified audits, it's just there's no pressure to get it done by a certain date. And especially in these healthcare environments where there's hundreds, if not, some environments could have 1,000 different type of small utilities and applications running. And just always appreciated the onboarding process, where it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's just the importance of getting it done right, so the go live and securing the endpoints. Again, especially in a healthcare environment where we can't be impacting, physicians from performing their jobs and having something come up to detract and take away from their time caring for patients. That's just overall experience with ThreatLocker in that regard has been excellent. I'd say the main objective that ThreatLocker helps is, so far in just protecting the environment, we've not had an incident come up that we have ThreatLocker, where we have ThreatLocker deployed. I think that's kind of the important baseline that we evaluate this so far. We are fairly new in the deployment of ThreatLocker, but so far I think it's more the peace of mind, and just we know we have a solid solution in place that is just greatly reducing the landscape that someone could compromise an environment. Given that, we never can rest on our laurels, and we're always vigilant. But I think ThreatLocker just, again, we believe in a layered security approach, and that is just feeling a great layer of security in that overall solution set. The best aspect of ThreatLocker, I'd say, it's two-part, and I've mentioned this before. The security aspect of just stopping ransomware or someone trying to deploy. End users make mistakes; they can click on something they shouldn't, and just to know that ThreatLocker is there to stop that application from installing something malicious is great. And then again, the second phase that is that whole asset application management piece. Those are the two probably most important aspects of ThreatLocker that I've recognized with the solution. Storage control has been another important feature that's been utilized with this solution. Just the recent health hospital facility we deployed it at, they've implemented that across their environment, and that's one of the features that the client has communicated to us that they thought was an excellent feature included in ThreatLocker. I think the overall impact is just, it's hard to quantify in a way, because it's like no news is good news, in the security aspect. So far with this solution from our support standpoint, it hasn't increased. We're adding a excellent tool, ThreatLocker, to our solution set, but it hasn't added any, I'd say, it's had very little impact on our help desk resources to support it. That's been a great aspect. It's allowed us to add a great tool without having to add, or impact the resources of our support infrastructure. And again, it's just kind of goes to that overall aspect of it's easy for us to communicate the value of this tool, especially a ThreatLocker, especially given the price point. And one thing we've noticed over the years, especially the last year or two, is a lot of our clients' decisions on what security solutions they're going to move forward with is based on basically what their cyber insurance is mandating. And I've been amazed how quickly the cyber insurance applications have been changing. Just from, I looked at one in January of this year to one just in August, and the difference was amazing. And I have yet to see where zero trust is being mandated by them, but I think it's coming. I think that's going to be coming. But ThreatLocker is the first security tool that I can remember that we're having success selling without, the client being basically forced to buy it because their cyber insurance is requiring it. And I think it's been so easy for us to express and show them the value of that and how well this solution can protect their environment. And so it's been great that we're starting to get clients signing up without that, as I mentioned, cyber insurance requirement just forcing them. The biggest challenges I foresee coming for our industry is, I think the biggest challenge is going to be centered around security still. Not only is the threat landscape changing so fast, we just the ways that the threat actors are coming up to infiltrate environments is just kind of astounding. And then on the other hand, though, you're just seeing so many different security solutions. I mean, in my role as tech architect, I'm bombarded with calls and emails with, different entities trying to sell their solutions. And just, I think that's just the security aspect and trying to figure out how best to protect our clients' environments and not breaking the bank is going to be just a challenge, because if you deployed everything people say you need, no one could hardly function. Goals for the next 3 months, personally, we as a company are just, in my security officer role, I've been really focusing on that asset management piece of the security puzzle to make sure we have everything inventoried properly. We know what is in our environment so we can effectively create security strategies and policies if necessary to better protect the environment. So yeah, that's probably what's the main push for our last quarter here of 2022 before the beginning of the year. ThreatLocker will help with those goals immensely, just with its ability to control what applications that can be installed on endpoints. So, and that's just been just so important. So for the first time feel like I truly know what's in our environment from an application level on our endpoints. And that's just important to ThreatLocker. Having that unified audit, and, that was also a great part of the deployment onboarding function, was the audit when we could actually see what was installed. And, that really opened our eyes to, okay, just a shocker what some people had installed that definitely wasn't, shouldn't have been. So again, that whole asset management piece from the application level, that's where ThreatLocker makes that whole process and job a lot easier. Yeah, I think from ThreatLocker's organization to help us, I think just the biggest thing is to keep that onboarding and the support structure as robust as it is. And that just makes the whole solution that much better. And, I can say the initial deployments we've had at these healthcare clients, we easily great references that we're going to use from their experience to promote, this across our entire client base. And that wouldn't be possible without that support being so good that ThreatLocker has. So I just, hope that never changes. And, a side note, the pandemic brought a lot of changes in that area. And that's one thing we noticed. We deal with a lot of vendors, and I can't think of one other than ThreatLocker that we haven't noticed a decline in quality of the support we get. And so, ThreatLocker is by far the best vendor support experience that ICE Technologies has. That makes us look good too, because we're reliant on vendor support to help facilitate issues. And when vendor support suffers, then we suffer too, and how we're perceived. So that's just great. Just really appreciative of the ThreatLocker support experience that makes us look better too. Would I recommend ThreatLocker over here? Yes, definitely. That's whenever I talk to anyone that at any meeting I go to, or just any security related meeting, especially when we talk about solution sets, ThreatLocker is right there as one of the top recommendations that I make.